What is good with you? It's your boy Travis Kinley coming back to you with another one. My boy Gabe right here. Gabe is brand new to Prime. Yo, Gabe, what do you love about Prime? What are you most excited about being here at Prime?
Driving the truck. I mean, I'm brand new and it was such a rush. It's like a high. I mean, it was absolutely sick just driving this massive vehicle, and it's hard to put into words. You just got to try it out.
Dude, check Dave's Gabe out. I'm gonna put his iCard right here in the introduction. Gabe has got this amazing energy. I'm so excited to meet him. Look, check us all out. Driver Hub, driver lineup. You know it's all the way in the description. It's all in the description, and we will see you soon. What is good with you? It's your boy Travis Kinley coming back to you with another one, the second part of our fueling series. Give me a second to get comfortable. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing in my life right now. Give me a second. Give me a second. Okay, so we did the overview, right? And we talked about what we were going to talk about. So now we're going to talk about what we talked about, what we were going to talk about. How's that sound? Today, I want to talk about MPGs and fuel surcharge. This was, you know, in large part, this series is kind of, it is comprised of the most interesting things I learned in my ACE 2 class. I realize there are some people out there that did not take ACE 2. I realize there are, excuse me, there are people out there who took ACE 2, but it's been a while. Maybe you didn't remember some of the things I may mention. And then I realized sometimes you take classes and you don't retain all of the knowledge that you heard. And maybe some of the things you'll hear in this are might be one or two, or you know, something that you didn't retain from what you learned. All right. So today we're going to talk about MPGs and fuel surcharge. What is MPGs? What are MPGs, plural? And what is a fuel surcharge? MPG stands for miles per gallon. I bet 99.9% of all people who will watch this video already knew that. And the other 0.1% of the people who will watch this video are spouses of people who know what MPGs are, right? Anyways, that was just a joke. Just, you know, hit the all right, let's move on. MPGs are miles per gallon. It's how many miles you're rolling on a gallon of fuel, right? I think that's pretty clear. Fuel surcharge, on the other hand, may not be as clear. I didn't know what a fuel surcharge was before I came trucking. I didn't know what a fuel surcharge was, I don't know, until my trainer told me. My trainer was leased. But if you had a company trainer, maybe you don't know what a fuel surcharge is. A fuel surcharge is kind of the money. I'll use a little bit of slang right here. It's kind of the money that Prime fronts you. It's not even really a front though. It is the money that Prime gives you for fuel. They meet you halfway. It ain't really halfway, don't take that literally, but they meet you where they meet you. Okay, so I actually have my, I actually got my little ACE 2 book. I'm gonna read out of it and make sure I don't get anything wrong. But I think this information is extremely interesting, and it's gonna tie in kind of at the end, right? The fuel surcharge, we're gonna start with fuel surcharge, and then the fuel surcharge is going to tie in to the MPGs, and that's gonna tie into the net fuel costs, and that's gonna tie in how you keep more money in your pocket and not put it in your truck, okay? So fuel surcharge is something that is figured weekly. If you are a Prime driver, then you probably have the Prime app. And if you want to know what the fuel surcharge is or when it's changing and all of that fancy stuff, what you can do is you can go on the app, and it's under news, I think. Wait, no, not news. You just go on the app, and on the home page, if you press home, if you scroll down, there's 2 areas where we receive updates all the time. One is like right under your load, and then the other one's like all the way at the bottom of the app. Check them both. You'll see where it's at, okay? And every time fuel prices change drastically, you know, the fuel surcharge changes, okay? Fuel surcharge changes weekly, all right? Fuel surcharge changes weekly. Every single week, I guess they are just examining what the average fuel cost is at the in-network, you know, truck stops, fuel stops, you know, in Prime's network. They examine the average cost, and then they base the fuel surcharge based upon the following equation that we're going to talk about. So, it says fuel surcharge is figured weekly and is based on Prime's fuel network average price per gallon. The baseline for figuring fuel surcharge is 99 cents per gallon. For example, and we're just going to go into it, okay? So if Prime's fuel, you know, average price per gallon in the network at the fuel stops, if the average price per gallon is $2.50, what you would do is you would take $2.50 and then you would deduct the baseline of 99 cents per gallon. You would deduct that baseline of 99 cents and you would end up with $1.51. With $1.51, what they figure, what Prime figures, okay? Prime figures a pretty good number for mpgs is 7 miles per gallon. Now, some of y'all Freightliner owners out there, y'all are like laughing and like throwing popcorn at the screen as I talk right now. You're like, oh, 7 miles per gallon, this is ridiculous, right? Okay, but some of us Pete owners, depending on what area of the country we're in, we're grateful that they figured 7 miles per gallon. So Prime figures at 7 miles per gallon. That's a pretty good average for all the trucks in the fleet or something of that nature. So you take $1.51 and you divide it by 7 for 7 miles per gallon, and you get 0.215 cents per mile. So 21.5 cents per mile, right? So if you take 21.5 cents per mile, that would be the fuel surcharge at the average of $2.50 in network. Like I said, weekly, they assess this and they see, you know, do we need to increase the fuel surcharge? Do we need to decrease the fuel surcharge? So if you ever give people information, if you do not follow up with why it matters, they're going to consider you the most unimportant person of the day because you gave them a bunch of information and never connected why it matters. So why does this matter? Why does fuel surcharge matter? Number one, just knowing that it increases and decreases is a good thing. Number two, knowing the fuel surcharge, you're going to understand also how much you're actually paying for fuel. Do not forget, in the equation is 7 miles per gallon, mpgs. Are you smiling with me? Are you smiling? You're not smiling yet. Okay. The reason this matters is because mpgs is something you control. This is the door. This is the segue leading into how do I keep more money in my pocket? mpgs is something you control. So if at 7 miles per gallon, I'm getting the 21.5 cents per mile, that only means if I increase my mpgs, I keep more money in the bank. See what I'm saying? So let's say, you know, 99 cents per mile, 21.5 cents per mile. But, you know, instead of 7 miles per gallon, if you get 8, they actually have a chart. If you get 8 miles per gallon, that shows you straight up. So let's look on the chart at a few things. Here we go. Really cool chart. Check it out. All right. Even broke up solo fuel costs and team fuel costs. I'm on a team truck, so I'm looking at the team chart. But I'm going to talk about the solo chart, okay? So at 7 miles per gallon, if you run 2,450 miles and you use 350 gallons, then the fuel costs actually going, you know, that you're paying for after the discount in network, you know, after the discount is $346.50. However, if you just add 1 more mile for the gallons of fuel that you use, instead of $346.50, you're paying $237.13. Is that a big deal to you? If that's not a big deal to you, will you please cash at me next time I go live? I want you to super chat me the difference between 7 and 8 miles per gallon, because that's ridiculous. Me and my household can use that money, okay? All right, so what I'm saying is, if you're paying attention to and trying to have an effect on your MPGs, it is going to directly affect how much you're paying for fuel, right? Not only just how much you're paying for fuel, but how much you're using the fuel surcharge to work in your advantage. Let me give you one more difference, right? So at 7 MPGs, like I said, you're paying $346.50. That's just the average that Prime chose. However, at 9 MPGs, you're paying $152.06, more than $200 less at the same amount of miles in a week, 2,450 miles. $200 goes to your pocket. That's $800 a month that you can keep in your pocket. That doesn't matter. That's more than my mortgage. You see what I'm saying? Why does fueling matter? Some people, I know people that just kind of just stop anywhere. I used to be one of those people, okay? Y'all remember me? I'm the guy who went company team and I was driving this very Pete and I didn't care where I fueled, man. All I cared about were the rewards points on the doggone cards that the truck stops give to you. That was me. He is me. He is in front of the camera. Me is him. And we are here, okay? But now I'm like, dude, $800 a month. I can do something with that, all right? That's what I'm trying to tell you. Let's do one more time. 7 miles per gallon, you're paying $346.50 at 350 gallons used, but 2,450 miles a week, you're paying $346.50. However, if you can work 10 miles per gallon, you are paying $84 for fuel. $84 because of the fuel surcharge. You're paying $84 for fuel in 1 week at 2,450 miles. Right now, some lease drivers are like, I ain't trying to run 20, but you get what I'm saying. 2,450 miles. The fuel surcharge is something you have to actually work it to your advantage. Don't just get the message on the app and be like, oh, super cool fuel surcharge. I get a little bit of money off. You actually have to work it to your advantage. And the largest variable that you have control over, that you have pressure over, that you have influence over, not pressure, that you have influence over, is your MPGs. How do I get my MPGs up? Go back to the first episode, the overview episode that came out yesterday, and it is primarily slow down, dude. Slow down. There's some other tips here. We'll go through tips how to get the MPGs up real quick, and then I'll shut it down. Primarily slow down. On the real, y'all. Slow down. If you slow down, I swear your MPGs will go up, okay? My last co-driver, she don't care if I say her name because she was gonna do a YouTube video, but we was running so hard. My last co-driver, Darlene, would like consistently put this truck in 9s and 10s MPGs. It was the absolute most ridiculous thing I'd ever seen in my life. Not ridiculous, like good ridiculous, you know what I'm saying? She would be running 9 and sometimes hit 10 MPGs in a Peterbilt. That is amazing, all right? She got off the truck. I ran solo for like a week or two, and I commented on a post that she put up, and I was like, yeah, you got off the truck, and days later, my MPGs are down to 8.3, right? So, you know, if you just slow down, and Darlene just consistently drove slower than I did. She consistently kept it like 58 to 62. She just rode it on out. She wasn't in a rush. And my net fuel costs drastically dropped. Okay? So slow down. If you slow down, maybe you're like, man, somebody loves this, somebody loves that. Sometimes I can't slow down. Sometimes I can't do it. Okay, look, if you just can't do it, then just go on, wait till the next tip. It's coming really fast. Okay? But number 2, if you're just like the load this, the load that, the load requires, okay? I get that. Now let's acknowledge part of that is time management, but I get that some loads are just too hot to be running 60, 62 miles an hour. And when I told Darlene that, she'd pick up the pace. All I had to do was communicate it. But most of Prime's loads are not like that. From my personal experience, yeah, you might say, oh, you're a rookie. You've only been here 10 months. Okay, chalk it up to the rookie thing and wait till next year. When I tell you next year, it still didn't change. Nevertheless, most of Prime's loads are not timed extremely hot where we're humping and jumping and we can't stop and you can't eat or hydrate or take a shower or anything like that. Be real with yourself, okay? Part of this is time management, okay? So 1 is slow down. 2 is this. Some of y'all trucks have the ability to manually be shifting gears and all this other stuff. You want to treat your truck like a race truck, something like that. You want to act like you fast. Y'all know good and well we drive for Prime. Stop playing. Y'all know we not fast. Y'all know these trucks fast. Stop trying to race these trucks uphill. It ain't worth it. Y'all be dropping gears before you get to the hill, trying to, keep the speed up. You don't want to drop the speed. The more you do that, the more your MPGs will stay down. I guarantee you. How do I know? Because I did it, okay? The more you do that, the more your MPGs are gonna stay down. So choose, do I wanna be a race truck driver? Or do I wanna keep $800 a month? Okay, race truck driver, $800 a month. You gotta make decisions in your life, okay? Hashtag adulting, all right? Hashtag adulting, all right? So the second tip is stop being a race truck driver. All right, stop being a race truck driver. Third and last tip that I can think off the top of my head is sometimes it's really good not to use cruise control. Sometimes it's great to use cruise control. Sometimes it's really good not to use cruise control. Here's one example of how you not use, a time when I would not use cruise control that I can think off the top of my head. If I'm going up a hill, right, and I intend on trying to save on fuel, I'm gonna use the pedal instead of using cruise control. What does cruise control do? Cruise control just gives it the maximum amount of throttle so it can get up to speed, right? And it just holds that. Now, if I'm holding it at 62 and I'm going up a little gangsta hill, doggone, Mount Eagle, right? If I'm going up Mount Eagle and I know good and well, I got like, I don't know, 38,000 in the box. That's enough to slow my truck down, right? Going up Mount Eagle. I'm going up Mount Eagle, and if I set the cruise control to 63 miles an hour, it's not gonna work, dude. Truck's not gonna hold 63, but the whole way uphill, truck's gonna be trying to hold 63. Instead, if I use the pedal, if I maybe just choose half to 3/4 of throttle and just accept whatever speed the truck gives to me, I'm saving on fuel in that moment. Furthermore, when I get to the top, if I just decide to call it a day on the top of the hill, just let it roll over until we go downhill and then I'll start pressing the gas downhill, sure, maybe you saved like a penny just now, but you know what? If I make it a habit, I start saving more money over the long run. See what I'm saying? Okay? These are just ideas that I've exercised. Do I do it all the time? No. Sometimes I'm not in the mood. Sometimes I ride the cruise control. But I'm just telling you ways to increase your MPG. Overall, over the past 4 to 6 months or so, definitely this year. So yeah, we're in the 5th month of the year now. Definitely this year. So over the past 4 to 6 months, I've definitely increased my MPGs. My net fuel cost has dropped probably somewhere between like 8 and 12 cents every single week. I'm like number 2 in my fleet right now for 4-week or 8-week, one of those two. Stats are looking great. Okay, me and Ross be talking about it. You know, Ross, he like fueling too. All right, so that's fuel surcharge. That's MPGs, miles to gallon. Fuel surcharge that Money Prime gives you is based on a certain equation. I'm gonna write that equation in the description, and just so, I don't know if you want to copy it without rewinding the video, it's based on a certain equation, and part of that equation you can control. What part of that equation is it? It is your MPGs. And then here are 3 ways to influence your MPGs. You already heard them, otherwise rewind it. You already know what it is. Travis Kinley is hungry. I intentionally recorded this video hungry because I knew if I was hungry when I recorded the video, I would not take too much of your time today, okay? So you already know what the business is. Find you somebody to love. I love y'all. It is not about what you believe. It is why you believe it. And live